Most of the battles you are fighting, the tearful arguments, the slow-burning tension, they are not disputes over facts. They are fights against subtle manipulation. The world wants you to believe you must meet a manipulator with anger, with lengthy explanations, and with desperate self-defense. That is a lie. The brutal reality is drama is their oxygen. Remember Theward's of Epictetus that what disturbs men is not things but thieves which they take of them. Manipulators seek to force their interpretation to become your reality. They want you to doubt your own mind. But here is the one thing they fear more than anything else. A calm person knows how to ask the right questions, because the right question doesn't just disrupt their plan. It shatters the very illusion they rely on to exist. Today, I'm giving you the 7 Stoic questions that instantly expose a manipulator. No drama, no shouting, and zero loss of your inner peace. After this lesson, you will rise above 99% of people still caught in these emotional games. Manipulation is not an assault on your strength. Manipulation is an attack on your clarity. And the ultimate Stoic weapon is not resistance. It is revelation. These questions are surgical, precise. They are silent weapons. Ask them, and you will watch the entire dynamic of the conversation shift. Are you ready to equip this deadly composure? Let's begin. Why manipulators fear questions, Part 1. Why the manipulator fears questions. The manipulator operates in a fog. They thrive in a cloud of confusion, a fog of emotional chaos, a mist of half-truths. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If it is not clear, make it clear." That single sentence, that single principle absolutely obliterates all manipulation. The manipulator relies on ambiguity. They want you emotional, uncertain, and hesitant because clarity forces accountability. A manipulator needs the conversation to be muddy, to be tangled, and the Stoic cuts right through that mud with one simple tool: targeted questions. A question does 4 things simultaneously. It forces clarity, and the manipulator it's that. It forces accountability, and the manipulator fears that it slows the pace of the conversation, and the manipulator avoids that. It exposes intention, and the manipulator cannot serve that. These questions are not designed to win. They are created to simply reveal the truth, because once you see the truth, you no longer need to fight the battle. Part 2. The 7 surgical questions. Now let's begin. You must take your time with each question. Speak them slowly with a neutral tone. Zero emotion, no apology, no defense. You are not accusing. You are not defending. You are simply seeking clarity. And clarity is the ultimate weapon. Question 1. Clarify the ambiguity. Question 1. Can you clarify what you mean? If someone is exaggerating, twisting the facts, guilt-tripping or gaslighting, manipulation thrives on ambiguity, generalization, and those soft guilt-inducing phrases. I just feel like you don't support me. It feels like, hey, you always do this. Everyone is saying that. You know what I mean? These airsoft lies packaged to create self-doubt in you. Never accept ambiguous language. Your job is to illuminate, not to accept someone else's confusion as fact. So you simply say, can you clarify what exactly you mean here? When you demand clarification, you force them out of the emotional fog. A manipulator will stammer. They will get irritated, or they will attempt to shift the blame because precisely defining their behavior means they must own it. A Stoic knows this. You cannot act rightly when you are reacting to a false definition. Ask this question with absolutely no emotion. Like a judge seeking pure specifics. Watch your power return the moment they treat or reshape the definition. The Stoic principle behind this question is clarity, is control. Question 2. What? Question 2. Evidence versus assumptions. Events. Are you basing that claim on? This is where you turn the conversation to a Stoic court of law. This is where things get difficult for them. The manipulator doesn't expect facts. They expect emotional flooding. They don't want data. They want compliance. Every manipulative statement, especially those designed to shame or guilt, you must be placed under the cold, harsh light of reason. When you demand evidence, you force them to move from feeling to fact. Suddenly, the narrative based on I think that collapses because they have nothing but assumptions and sentiment. If they pivot by attacking you, you should just know this. That is a direct confirmation they have no proof. Their common reactions, they shift the topic, they attack your character, they feel an offense. All of these are classic signs of manipulation. That your self-development duty is to never accept something as truth simply because it is delivered with fury. Always demand specificity, factuality, verifiable information. Their fear of the facts is the evidence of your victory. The Stoic principle being this question: test every impression. Question 3. Is that your question 3? Feeling or fact? Feeling, or is that a fact? The manipulator is a master at weaponizing emotion, turning their subjective feelings into your objective truth. They say, you deliberately embarrassed me, or you just don't care. Those airy emotional accusations, not facts. As a Stoic, you know that your distress comes from your interpretation, not from the event itself. This question draws a definitive line in the sand. It forced them to state this is how I feel instead of this is what you did. Their control shatters the moment they have to admit their own subjectivity. Your personal power lies in your ability to separate these two concepts. Hold your composure and deliver this line, and you will watch them either retreat the feeling or scramble desperately to evade. Remember, you are not denying their emotion. You are preventing fate emotion from becoming your reality. The Stoic principle in this question is what upsets people is not events, but their judgment about events. Question 4. Accountability exposito is accountable for this specific art. The manipulator survives by deflection. They will blame you, the circumstances, the timing, the universe, anything but their own choices. They cannot accept responsibility because it shatters the victim role they need to exist. This question shines a spotlight in action instead of emotion. It is not an accusation. It is an objective investigation into cause and effect. Hold your ground. A Stoic neither runs from responsibility nor carries the burden of another person's. When you ask this, you are forcing them to face their own choices. Their reaction, the squirming, the evasion, the sudden outrage simply confirms they are the responsible, and they are trying to escape it. Your composure is the wall off which all their blame deflects. The Stoic principle in this question is responsibility is power. Question 5. Hidden requests revealed. So what exactly do you want me to do? This is a destructive question in relationships. Manipulators rarely make a direct request. They hint, they suggest, or they guilt trip you into volunteering or offering help yourself. Because if they state it plainly, you might say no. Manipulation exists in the ambiguity of the unspoken request. This question forces them to state their intention publicly. Now they have to declare clearly, yes, I want you to cancel your plans to fix my problem. Yes, I want you to pay for this thing. Yes, I want you to take the blame. Once the words are spoken, you can make the intention alcoys of a Stoic. Accept or decline. Your self-development duty is to protect your time, your energy, and your boundaries from hidden demands. Never act on a hint. Demand specificity. The Stoic principle in this question is stating the request removes the manipulation. Question 6. What outcome? Question 6. The real outcome are you hoping to achieve here? Every manipulative conversation is driving towards a specific destination. Emotional leverage, compliance, attention, money, or control. The manipulator never wants you to see their final destination. This question doesn't ask how they feel. It asks what they are retreating to do. It cuts straight to their intention. When you ask calmly, you'll force them to publicly declare their agenda. If they are complaining to gain sympathy, they must now say, "I want you to feel sorry for me and fix my problem." When they become defensive or accuse you of overthinking it, it is because you have exposed their mechanism. Personal power is the ability to judge a situation based on the desired final outcome, not based on the current drama. The Stoic principle in this question is look beneath the surface. This question forces the truth to the light. Question 7. Why is question 7? The motive behind the manipulation is so important to you? This is the final blow. The first 6 questions address the what and the how. This question goes straight to the why, the deepest motive. The manipulator never wants to reveal the true reason they are repushing a narrative. Their intention is very core of the manipulation. When you ask this, you are piercing through their deepest fear, their insecurity, or their hidden desire for control. Deliver this with neutral curiosity, like a surgeon examining a wound. Their reaction will be panic, deflection, feigned outrage, or a sudden resort to ambiguity. They may even end the conversation entirely. Why? Because a manipulation cannot survive when the motive is exposed. By asking this question, you achieve the Stoic goal. You don't win an argument. You render the argument unnecessary. How their illusion collapses. Part 3. The collapse of the illusion. You have asked the questions. You have delivered the sharp blades of logic. Now you no longer need to fight. The only thing required is to observe. You will know exactly that you are winning. Not by seeing them surrender, but by seeing them shatter. This is when they lose their composure and the mask begins to crack. Watch for the physical signs. Suddenly their voice breaks. The tempo of their speech gets faster, higher. They cannot hold that false calm anymore. That is emotional panic born from exposure. They won't answer directly. They will swap the subject or attack your character outright. You are so cold or you're being unnecessarily ficked. They do this because they have no reply. They have no evidence, no facts, and no desired outcome they can publicly admit. The manipulator is an actor relying on their script, and you just burned that script to ashes. When logos walks into the room, manipulation chokes. Their sudden shift to the victim role is just a final act, a desperate attempt to regain control, losing guilt. But you, the Stoic, you simply stand there unmoved like a bronze statue. You feel no anger. You only feel confirmation. This is not a sign that you are wrong. This is the precise sign that you are reclaiming power and truth. You have succeeded. Stoic composure. The silent weapon. Part 4. How to ask these questions with Stoic composure. The question is only half the weapon. The other half, and the part that is hardest for most people, is the delivery. You can know all 7 questions, but if you shout them in anger, you lose everything. You fall right into their emotional trap. This is where you must master the art of Stoic response, the art of neutrality. The supreme rule: lower your voix, don't raise it. Your calm is not weakness. It is the most powerful unexpected assault. The manipulator craves drama. When you lower your tone, your composure activates their profound insecurity. Speak slowly because the pauses are your power. Crucially, do not explain your question. You do not need to justify seeking the truth. The moment you begin to over-explain, you surrender clarity. Keep your facial expression neutral. Your stillness is their discomfort, their weakness. You must be firm. Do no targ. Ask the question once. If they evade, repeat it slowly. Your goal isn't to win the confrontation. Your goal is the truth. And here is the final key. Be ready to walk away. Manipulator serve on your attention. Their greatest fear is losing access to the energy source. When you demonstrate a readiness to end the conversation, not in anger but in respect for your own boundary, you seize supreme control. Make your composure the shield that cannot be breached. Conclusion. The Stoic mirror. A manipulator only succeeds, only exists when you give them what they need, which is a reaction. Only when you offer lengthy explanations. Only when you feebly defend yourself. Only when you doubt your own sanity instead of doubting them. But the moment you stop, take a deep breath, and begin to ask those surgical questions, clarify that. What is the evidence? Is that a feeling or a fact? You cease to be a target. You cease to be a victim. You become a mirror. And the manipulator, they hate mirrors because a mirror doesn't lie. A mirror doesn't argue. A mirror doesn't react. A mirror simply reveals the brutal truth. Today you have learned how to reveal everything. Remember this core lesson. The Stoic does not fight for control. They eliminate the illusion, and control naturally reverts back to them. If this lesson has fundamentally changed how you view confrontation in your life, take a second to show your support by liking this video and subscribing to join us on this journey of Stoic mastery. To commit to this process, comment the phrase "I am the mirror" down below. And if you want to go deeper, if you want to achieve the next level of emotional mastery, knowing the exact Stoic phrases to shut down disrespect immediately, then you need to watch the video on your screen right now. It is perfect continuation. Stay sharp, stay resilient, stay stoic. Thank you for watching.